Okay, hopefully that worked. Yeah, we're recording now. It is currently, I hope I can see that, 5:37, and we're on our way to St. Lucia now. First flight of 2. So, wish me luck until we get there.
Wow, that was bad. Wouldn't you like to tell them that? Now you can, by becoming an online survey taker at bigspot.com, where people like you get paid to give their opinions on the things they use every day.
It's finally happening, y'all. So a lot of people have been asking me since I've gotten back to the USA, how was your St. Lucia trip? They asked my sister, and she said it was great. But you don't hear the story from me because some bad things happened on that trip and some good things happened on that trip. So I thought the best way to tell everybody that's been wondering is through a video, and finally making its return. No longer Rocket League, because that game has died out. We're going to be playing Block Force in the background, and I'm so excited to say this, but welcome back to It's Story Time. So I guess a little bit of backstory should go with this. Basically, we came home from school one day, and my mother gave us a little envelope with travel tickets, and we were like, in the beginning we were both like, oh, so we're finally going to we finally got the tickets to go to St. Lucia in the summer. But if you read the date, it said April 12th, I think. I'm getting my dates wrong probably. But that was actually, we were all excited, we were all jumping up with joy. It was really sick, and honestly, that was a nice little prank. So everything's going well. The day of, we have 2 days to pack, so it's all pretty much going well. And finally, we're on the plane to go to Charlotte. Now, Charlotte is a crucial part in this story. Charlotte, North Carolina. We've gone there many times. We've had a few issues there, but we were ready to put that behind us. So we get on the plane, we get aboard, we hear an announcement from the pilot saying that we'll be a little delayed. So we're like, okay, we're gonna be taking off in like maybe 10 minutes or something like that. My sister fell asleep on this plane ride. She got up, and immediately she woke up after like 29 minutes, and she was like, did we make it already? And I was like, no, we haven't left the ground yet. So this would happen. We'd be delayed for like 30 minutes, and we realized that we're in a pickle. We're actually not going to make it to our St. Lucia trip if this plane doesn't land. This plane landed, right? And we literally had like 10 minutes to get to the gate, or we would miss our flight and we'd just have nothing there. So we bolted out the plane, and since it was a jet plane, you had to put all your carry-on at the bottom of the plane, and then you had 2 people taking it out. But these 2 people were slow, and I think they did it on purpose. I'm not even lying. Oh my gosh. We were rushing. We were yelling at them to take out our bags, and they were like, it's a process, ma'am. And we're like, okay, but could you pick up the process a little bit? And she's like, you'll get your bag eventually. So we eventually got our bags, ran into the airport, ran as fast as we could. And this gate was like a whole, however many a block away or something like this. Started sprinting, and we made it to the gate, and the people in charge of the gate were just like, St. Lucia flight? We were like, yes. And then they were like, cool, catch your breath, and just bored. So we just started thanking God that we actually made it to that flight in time. And we were like, the only way this would have possibly happened is that they knew that Charlotte was delayed because of all things, fog. Well, I know that's crucial as a plane, but, you know. So we make it onto the plane, we're all smiling, laughing, and all that good stuff. Now, enough about the plane, let's get into the trip. So we touched down to St. Lucia like any type of people would touch down in St. Lucia, taking our time, chilling out. Then we make it in, say hello to every single family member that came in through the United States, which was a lot of people. I'm not gonna lie, it was like about 10 solid minutes of greeting each other. So the place we were staying in was this villa in Soufrière, St. Lucia, obviously, and our uncle owned that villa, so it was really good, no money needed or anything like that. So we kind of just chilled out there for the 2 days that we were there. Now the whole point of this gathering was, it was my great aunt's 100th birthday, and they tasked me with not only making a video for my aunt, but I was supposed to also write a poem, and if you guys know me, I'm a beast at writing poems, so that's pretty good. Wrote the poem, it was all looking good. We stayed at the villa for like 10 minutes, then went back out to our aunt, the great aunt's house, and we just chilled there for a bit. I was hungry at that point, but you know, they always have food down there, and it was really good. It was really good. Other than the fact that the kids, myself, my cousin, and my sister were just chilling, literally just doing nothing, playing hide and seek and all that nonsense. Nothing really happened, but the crucial thing during this day was that I barely had any water to drink, and there was no water back in the villa. So it's the day of my great aunt's 100th birthday. Also, this is being recorded into parts because I don't have time. We're ready to go to the mass for my great aunt because that's what we had to do. All the kids had a role. I had to bring up the gifts. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's go to the mass. It doesn't rhyme, but you know what I mean. You guys know me. I'm a beast at writing poems. So we go to the mass, which was a really beautiful mass. I have to say that it was really beautiful. But the one thing that happened was there was no kind of ventilation or air conditioning in that place. So you only had fans to kind of keep you cool, or you had the programs that were made to kind of cool you off. So I brought up the gifts, all fine, all willy-nilly, all good, you know, it's great. By the way, the mass was, I said it already, the mass was beautiful. So, we bring up the gifts, and then I go back to my pew, and they're blessing the Eucharist. So I bring the gifts back, and all of a sudden, my vision just starts going blurry, and I'm like, okay, I'm probably gonna have to do something to my digestive system because I didn't eat well, I didn't eat well pretty much. Because this blurriness in my eyes has happened before, so I wasn't stressing too much. But all of a sudden, my hearing starts to go ringy, and I'm like, okay, this has never happened before. Am I going to die? So I duck my head in and just vomit. That's all I can really say, just vomit. And it felt bad, dude. I felt so bad because I did that in the middle of church. It's just awful. Now, most of what I'm going to tell you now is in the third person. So my mother dragged me out of the church because I just vomited. The mass didn't stop, and thankfully there was a pediatrician there who had seen what had happened, so she went to help me. What I'm about to tell you seems a little scary. So you know my complexion, it's rather dark, or light skin as you hip people say. And then I was out, before they dumped any water on my face or tried to clear it up, the pediatrician, and this is literally a quote, the pediatrician called my skin tone white as a bed sheet. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. So, I apparently had lost all feeling in my legs, so I just kind of had to be dragged to the nearest bathroom where I could clear myself out. I don't want to disturb anybody, but it happened. And then I started to regain consciousness again. They asked me 4 times if I knew where I was, and I replied yes, I'm in St. Lucia. 4 times. Then they got me out of the restroom, and then took me to the shade so I could like regain my sight and stuff. All that good stuff. Really fun, really fun, really fun. Try passing out once, it's really fun. So we end up going back to the church for just kind of like a gathering, I guess. The mass had finished, and everybody was just kind of talking now, saying happy birthdays and all that. Side note, the Governor General of St. Lucia was in attendance for that. So I go back in the church, everybody's questioning me. It's like, are you dead? Are you dead? Are you dead? And I'm like, no, I'm not dead. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. I will be. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. So the reception is at the villa. So we go back, and my mother's like, right, you're in no condition to stay for this reception for a little bit. So we're just gonna bring you to the villa room, and we'll see how it goes from there. So she dragged me back to the room, and I'm not saying my video's sponsored by them, but holy cow, I came upstairs, and my mother came back hauling some like a big set of Crix crackers. If you ever tasted Crix crackers, you will either call them really good or really bad. For crackers, they're not really bad, but I never liked crackers, so I didn't really enjoy it all that much. But they were probably one of the best crackers I've had. So if you like crackers and that's your thing, you should try it. It's pretty good, gotta say. So I had the Crix. I was finally ready to digest real food. And then after I ate the food, I just kind of like slept. So I finally, I'm awake. All my cousins are coming in and out of the room. And they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, sure. And then they're like, we heard you died. And then I said, I didn't die yet. And then they're like, okay. So, my cousin named Kyle, you may know of him if you watched the first It's Storytime. Maybe sort of like he has like a tradition where he gets a whole bunch of teddy bears from places he's visited. So he has one for like Miami, even one for his own country, I think. So, he says, oh, I need one for Washington DC, the place where we live, obviously. So, I just gave. So, we go to this place near the Washington Monument to see if they have a teddy bear there, because, you know, he needed one. So he comes in, and I hear my cousin say he got a girlfriend, you know, and I'm like, shut up. Oh my gosh, this guy, the same guy that freaked out over a teddy bear, had a girlfriend before I've even had contact with a girl of any sort. Please date me so I can flex on him, okay? Okay, now that we've got that cleared up. He came in, he was like, how are you? I'm like, I'm okay, and he's like, okay, and we just kind of talked about relationships and how he's not flexing on us because he hasn't taken a picture with or of her yet, which is something I'd be doing every 4 minutes. And, yeah, they all went into the pool without me. I got called a lazy pants for not getting up 48 different times. I finally started walking, and guess what? I missed the entire reception. Oh, so funny. I had 2 roles at that entire thing. I was supposed to write a poem, which I'm a beast at, like I mentioned already. And I was supposed to show this video, but I didn't get to do either, because I died. Don't pass out, kids. Although it may be fun, it's not that fun. So that leaves us on the end of the first day, second day of St. Lucia. So it is indeed our last day in St. Lucia. We will be departing on this day, and you're probably thinking, how in the world did you have fun on this trip? It was away from America. I'm kidding. Shotgun shells, America, great. But basically, we met at the place where the reception was held, and then I could finally show my video. Everybody applauded me, saying, "Are you going to be a director?" And I said, "I don't know yet," and that kind of stuff.
Just 100 years ago, a beautiful woman was born with a bright, bright glow.
So we went by the auntie's house one last time, and I showed her my video, which kind of made both myself and her emotional. So we hugged, and that was my end in St. Lucia. Travel back to the airport, and there you go. So, picture yourself as a kid, right? This is in the airport. You're a kid, maybe my age or my sister's age, which was like 10 or 14. You're traveling with your mother, and only your mother, and it's a 3-seated plane. You're going to be traveling for 3 hours and 8 minutes or something like that. Wouldn't you want to sit with your daughter? Not daughter, I'm an idiot. Wouldn't you want to sit with your mother? Yes is the answer, unless you are a hooligan. So, usually, when my mother does not get a seat with us, she usually either asks for an exchange with the person sitting in that seat, which usually say yes, or she either goes to the airport manager people and asks if she can change her seat. So we got on the plane, and we were like, okay, we're gonna sit with our mother because the person sitting there should be nice. We pull up on the plane and we see who's in our seat. None other than a little pump wannabe. Oh my gosh, was this guy crazy. So, we're like, my mother's like, excuse me, sir, I want to sit with my kids for this 3-hour flight. Would you like to trade with me? And then this son of a gun had the audacity to say, nah, ma'am, I really don't like window seats. Gang, 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 gang. And I stared at him and I was like, you're actually a it was not, it was just, I didn't like it. So, he goes away, and my mother's like, okay, maybe he's not even sitting there. So we sit down, and then she's like, oh, so he comes back, and she's like, oh, are you still sitting here? And he's like, yeah. Sits down, and, acts like he's got all 3 rows. Oh my god, this guy was upsetting. He carried this big black case that looked questionable, because it was the same size as a gun. I got terrified for most of the flight because of the things that I was putting in my mind. It was just not a fun ride. We'll just say that. It was not a fun ride in any way. So, we get done with, the plane ride, which felt like 48 hours, but thankfully my sister and I kept it cool. By the way, this guy had a Supreme iPad. What kind of idiot has a Supreme iPad?
I'm coming still, my pockets fill 100 bills. I'm in the hell, bitch, my soldiers did 100 mil. They're telling me to stop flexing, but I'm stunting.
So that is the end of my St. Lucia trip. Did you enjoy it? Comment down below, leave a like. I don't care if you cry, all I really should never lie, etc. I'm hoping to get more of these out, but I'm running out of stories. But this was basically for all the people asking me how my St. Lucia trip went. It was okay, I guess. It was pretty bad, but it was okay. It was my worst St. Lucia trip though. But yeah, that is it. And I'm signing off, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!